Hi, this is Salman Butt, and you are watching 57th PCB Podcast. And in this edition, we'll be featuring Glenn Phillips, Michael Bracewell, Will Young. So we have with us Michael Bracewell here from the New Zealand side, and it's, I believe, your third time in Pakistan.
Yes,
You've also led your side over here. So how is it coming back to Pakistan and playing here?
Yeah, it's nice to be in a familiar part of the world. Fortunate enough to travel here a few times now, and so should be pretty used to the conditions. They're nice conditions to play cricket in, so looking forward to it.
Any fond memories of the previous tour?
I'm not sure it was a fond memory. The test matches that came down to the wire were pretty cool. Neither side was able to get over the line, but that was my second test series, so it was fun to be a part of, and an exciting test match that both ended in draws, but were both pretty close to results either way.
So recently you must have watched those huge spinning tracks in Pakistan. Does it excite you for future test matches, because that might be the course?
Definitely. It looked an exciting games to play. Obviously, being a spinner, it looked like you got to be in the game a lot, and they were over pretty quickly, so that's always nice.
Inside 3 days.
Yeah, don't have to spend too much time in the field, which is always nice.
So you come from a family of cricketers, I think, including yourself. There have been 4 who've played. So how much it is as a pressure on a player when you're coming from a family of cricketers who are well reputed and who've done well? Is that something that gives you more confidence, or does that bring a little bit of pressure to do well as they did?
I was pretty fortunate that my dad kept me pretty level and didn't put too much pressure on me. He sort of just wanted me to do what I enjoyed, and so that was cricket. So yeah, I didn't feel any extra pressure. I think I'm pretty proud of the family members that have gone before me, and it's a pretty cool part of history in New Zealand cricket. So yeah, I just am happy to be flying the family flag and playing for New Zealand.
All right, we wish you the very best to fly that flag further high. So this is your first 50-over ICC event. What does that exactly mean to New Zealand? Because I believe that New Zealand won it, a lot of years back when it happened in Kenya. So how ready are you to win this one for your country, and where do you think that your strengths lie?
Yeah, we have a really well-balanced side, so I think every tournament you want to come in and win, but there's a lot that goes into that, and I think we've got, I would say our strength is the calmness of the group, and that's led by Mitchell Santner. He's a very calming influence, and obviously a very senior player, and Kane Williamson as well, who's very calm. So I think in winning tournament cricket, you need to stay calm in pressure situations, and I think we've got a team full of guys that aren't overawed by a situation, but are obviously desperate to win. So yeah, it's an exciting opportunity to come here and play for a trophy, but we know we just have to take it one step at a time.
And thankfully the captain is a left-arm spinner. Might have been difficult to play 2 right-arm off spinners together. So you have toured Pakistan several times in the past 2 or 3 years. How much familiar do you think you are with the conditions, because you're going to play in Karachi, which will be maybe the 3rd game. The first 2 are in Lahore, but the important game, talk about Champions Trophy against Pakistan, will be in Karachi. What do you think of the conditions there, and how much do you think that you have your chances to do well against Pakistan?
Yeah, obviously touring here previously helps, but also this tri-series is very important for us to get familiar with the conditions, and I guess the test matches, as you alluded to earlier, they've changed to quite spinning conditions, so we're not sure too much of what we're going to expect. Maybe there'll be spinning conditions here for the one days as well, so we're just going to be nice and open and just try and adapt to what's ever in front of us. And I think the past experiences here certainly help, but sometimes that isn't an indication of what you're going to face. So we also have to be really adaptable to what's put in front of us, and that's the strength of our group is being nice and adaptable and just trying to play the conditions that are in front of us.
And do you think toss might be a factor, because at this time of the year there is very much the possibility of dew being there, any side bowling second? Does that affect you being a spinner, and have you done anything special to overcome that challenge?
Yeah, we practice with bowling with really wet balls at training, but yeah, it's one of those things that it's just part of the game. And in these parts of the world, there is a lot of dew on the ground, so you've just got to deal with it. And I don't think it'll be the deciding factor in whether the game's won or lost. It's just one of the parts and the intricacies of the toss that you have to take into account.
Well, that's very positive thinking, but being a player, the best remedy that we thought in our times was to win the toss.
Yeah, exactly.
And then make a good choice. So how do you see this tri-series helping you getting into that groove for the big event that's a few days around the corner?
Yeah, we had a nice one-day series against Sri Lanka at home, and now we're coming to a tri-series away. And as you get closer to the tournament, you're really trying to nail down your partnerships and the style of cricket that you want to play. So this tri-series will be invaluable for us to really try and finalise the way that we want to play, and being here in Pakistan and the conditions that we're going to face in the Champions Trophy is massively advantageous to us. So yeah, we're fortunate to have this tri-series ahead of us, and hoping to put our best foot forward in that first game.
So any specific targets in the Pakistan team that you want to, get these players out early or as soon as possible, and any ones that you want to avoid?
There's a lot of players that have done well against New Zealand and internationally, so it's a star-studded Pakistan lineup, and I think every time we take a wicket, we're going to be pretty excited, and just looking forward to it.
No particular names?
Fakhar Zaman's probably one that comes to mind.
Being an offie, left-hander,
who's done well against New Zealand. So yeah, we'll be trying to take everyone's wicket, but probably his in particular.
Yeah, to start off, you have to take his.
Yes, yeah.
To move forward. How do you find the fans here in Pakistan? If there's anything that you want to say to the fans or to your fans back home regarding this tri-series and Champions Trophy?
Yeah, I think the fans here are very passionate and loud, and it's great to see the stadiums full here, and we've played in front of some great crowds here in the past, and the one thing that I love about the Pakistan fans are they just support cricket. If a New Zealand player takes a wicket, they're still excited to see a really good ball. So it's exciting to play in front of such passionate fans, and we're looking forward to seeing them all out there come game one.
Well, Michael, I'll wish you the very best of luck for the upcoming events, and let's hope that you do not do too much damage when you play against Pakistan. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for having me. Cheers.
We have with us Will Young, the man that the New Zealand side would be hoping to give them electrifying starts in the upcoming events. Welcome, Will.
Thank you.
And being an opener, being somebody who's obviously expected to give good starts, how important do you think is getting through the new ball and in the manner that is required?
Yeah, it's hugely important to get off to a good start, whether you're batting first or chasing. But part of the job is also assessing the conditions, seeing if the ball's swinging, seeing what the pitch is doing, and relaying that information back to the dressing room so we can figure out what a good score might be, or if we're chasing, to get up with the rate so we can continue to chase in that manner for the rest of the innings.
So very important thing that you just said, giving the information back to the dressing room. So how much time do you think that you actually take, that you can consider yourself ready enough to give that info back to the dressing room?
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, the longer you're out there, the more different bowlers you've faced, the more sort of exposure you've had to the conditions. So it might be an opportunity when you change your gloves to relay some information back, or it might be when you get out. You can go into the dressing room, and instead of walking straight to your bag and undressing, you have a conversation or two with the batters waiting to bat, so they're prepared for what's out there.
So what do you consider yourself as, somebody who bats through the innings or somebody who gives an explosive start? Because you've got a brilliant average and also a very, very decent strike rate.
I think again it comes down to what the team needs on that day. If we're batting first and the conditions are nice, I'll chance my arm and I'll try to go a bit harder. But if it's a tricky wicket and you need wickets in hand for later, then I'll sort of bide my time a bit more and try and make the most of those middle overs when there's only 4 guys out rather than the 5 in T20. So I pride myself on being adaptable and just playing the conditions and what the team requires from me.
Well, that is certainly very important. So talk about conditions, and you've been a couple of times over here in Pakistan, and you've played cricket in different pitches, and certainly in Karachi, where the Champions Trophy first game against Pakistan would be, and also the new stadium, the newly built Gaddafi in Lahore. So how do you look forward to those conditions that you've previously played in? Because you've got a couple of 50s as well, an 80 odd in Karachi and an 80 something in Pindi.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but you've got to see what's in front of you on the day. I've never been in Pakistan at this time of year, so obviously slightly cooler. That might affect conditions and how the pitches will play. But what I'm expecting generally is potentially skiddy, sort of low surfaces, which might take a little bit of turn. And obviously when playing against Pakistan and other subcontinent teams, certainly later in the innings, they might get the ball to reverse a little bit. So there's a few tricks there, but we'll just have to adapt and see what it is on the day.
Yeah, very interesting when you say you're expecting a bit of turn and low skiddy surfaces, because Pakistan have gone in with 4 fast bowlers in this Champions Trophy squad and just the 1 regular spinner. So does that squad give you an idea of how the conditions might be?
Absolutely, yeah. So that's the tricky thing about the Champions Trophy is there's only 8 teams and every game is incredibly important. So you don't really get a feel for what a team's style of play might be, especially early in the competition. So we're going to have to make some sort of judgment calls on what team Pakistan, for example, put out, and then how they might use their resources in that particular innings. But yeah, we'll just have to be able to stay calm and think on our feet and adapt to what's in front of us on the day.
So you've, I believe, also been player of the series in a test series in India, which I think was a historic win for New Zealand. So how much confidence does that give you as a player and as a team, and carrying, although being a different format, but still it's a huge thing, that achievement in the subcontinent. How does that help you bring that winning mindset into this Champions Trophy?
Thank you. Yeah, it was an awesome series for New Zealand, and I was stoked to be part of that. So yeah, you can draw on confidence. Winning games of cricket, obviously a different format, but winning test matches in the subcontinent, that means a lot to the group. And taking some subtle learnings from that too, different ways to play spin, different methods of scoring. Each of our batsmen will go about things slightly differently. But yeah, nice to bank a bit of confidence from getting those wins over in these conditions.
So Will, is it easy progressing to the limited overs format after playing a test game? Do you prefer that as an opener?
It's interesting. I think the modern day cricketer needs to be able to adapt to what's in front of them. You can go from test cricket to one day, or obviously the other way around from T20 cricket to red ball. So the calibre of player we've got coming up at this Champions Trophy, everyone's used to the adaptations. So yeah, I think the ideal setup would be potentially red ball cricket going into white ball. So you've got your basics locked down and set, and then you can expand on those when you get to white ball. But yeah, you just got to be able to adapt on the day.
Right. So coming to this Tri-Nation series, which obviously is a kickstart towards the Champions Trophy, and having the same opposition in terms of Pakistan, we're going to play you in Karachi in the first game of yours in Champions Trophy. How important is this Tri-Series for you, and how do you actually see Pakistan team as opponents?
Yeah, the Pakistan cricket team are incredibly strong, especially in their own conditions, and they're hosting both of these tournaments. So I know they'll be fired up and ready to put on a show for the home crowds. But yeah, the Tri-Series itself, I think, is a great opportunity for all teams to get a feel for one-day cricket again. There's been a lot of T20 cricket, franchise cricket, guys coming back together from various tournaments. So just a great chance to get a feel for the format again and hopefully hit the ground running once that Champions Trophy starts.
So talk about key players when you face Pakistan team. Who are the men that you'd really like to get rid of as early as possible, And what would you like to face or not like to face in terms of bowling when you play Pakistan?
Yeah, I think if I'm in the field against Pakistan, the massive wickets of Babar Azam and Rizwan come to mind. They've had some incredible partnerships together over the years, and just seem to set the tone for the innings really well together. Another name that comes to mind is Fakhar Zaman. He's played some incredible knocks against New Zealand over the years, and very explosive. So yeah, key wickets like that will be important. And then on the flip side, the Pakistan bowlers, they're all incredibly strong, especially in these conditions. They know what they're doing. So yeah, I don't want to name any names. They're just an incredibly strong bowling attack in general.
So would you like to tell any advantages that you think that New Zealand have moving into this game against Pakistan?
Advantages, I think it's an exciting New Zealand group we've assembled. There's a nice balance between experience and youth and X factor. So yeah, I think the personnel we've got here is more than strong enough to compete and do well. But I think New Zealand's main advantage is we've got the confidence of being at some ICC events and performing consistently. So we'll look to draw some confidence from past performances and ICC events, and yeah, get our competition underway.
So just a few minutes earlier, Glenn Phillips was here, and I asked him what is something that he would want to change in the ongoing cricket. And the answer was very interesting. He said that for the sixes that go beyond 90 meters, he wants 8 runs out of it. So is there anything in particular that you'd like to change?
Yeah, it's interesting from GP. The man can obviously hit 90-metre sixes, which is nice. You put me on the spot here. I don't have any sort of brand new ideas around the one-day format, but I think the pace of play is important. Especially from the fans' point of view. You don't want the game to drag out too long. So I like the idea of the shot clock coming in. The over clock. So you've got 60 seconds to get the next over started. But no, I'll back GP. I like the 90-metre six idea.
So you'll get prepared to hit longer if that happens in future?
I'll stretch out the arms at training today.
Because he's got strong arms.
Yeah.
And lastly, what does this winning a title, ICC title, mean to New Zealand? Because they've been too close so many times and still not managed to get over the line, especially in the World Cups. But you certainly have won the Champions Trophy back in Kenya. Yes. So what does this actually mean to your side, and how prepared are you guys to cross the line this time?
Yeah. Obviously, the 2000 New Zealand team won the Champions Trophy in Kenya, as you alluded to, which was awesome and a really proud moment for New Zealand cricket. We've won the World Test Championship before, but as you say, we've come close in a number of ICC events since without raising the trophy. So it would be really nice to do that here. And it's only 8 teams, so hopefully we can start the competition well, get some momentum and build up to that final game, and yeah, who knows, we'll see what happens.
Well, there is something about this New Zealand side, because when we guys here in Pakistan as fans, we see when Pakistan is not there and you guys play somebody else in a knockout, every Pakistani backs New Zealand. So their wishes after Pakistan are with you guys. So best of luck with the upcoming events, and hopefully you can have a great outing.
Yeah, really appreciate that. Thank you. Cheers, mate.
So now we have with us Glenn Phillips, the very dynamic, super fit looking individual right in front of us. So when I first look at you, all I can think about is extreme fitness. So just take us through, how important is that? How much time do you spend doing this fitness in the gym or in the ground or whatever your routines are?
I think fitness plays a big element in professional sport in general. I think in a skill-based sport like cricket, it's not quite as paramount, but for me personally, I find it's something that if I've done all my work and I'm as fit as I can possibly be, it's one less thing that I have to worry about when it comes to the skills side of things. So I think it's just about holding myself accountable, and it's always nice to look good in the mirror.
Yeah, well, that certainly is. And do you think it carries an extra impact in the cricket field? Maybe a first look from the opposition, and if they look at somebody like you and in a game and a position that you bat in, well, anything half it is going out. So do you think that has an impact?
I think everyone, once they get to international cricket, everyone's skill level, I think, speaks for itself as opposed to physique. Obviously, for me personally, if my physique is where I want it to be, then I can go out with a different sort of belief and I guess know that I've done everything going into the game. But I don't think it has too much of an impact on other teams as much as I think I'd love it to. I think at the end of the day, skills come down to being the biggest part of it.
Well, giving you the confidence that is required is itself an impact. So talk about skills, and when we look at your record and we see that you bat, you bowl, you keep, you field as well as anyone, and you can win a game on your own. So you know what happens in our part of the world is when we play in the streets and there are children coming into play and one would bring the bat and one would bring the ball. So they would do everything. So when I see your things that you do, you nearly do everything. So does it come as a result of your all day spending in the ground, or you just want to be everywhere?
I think it just comes down to the passion of bowling, to be fair. I really dislike wicket keeping with a passion, and unfortunately when I was younger no one could catch the ball, so I decided I would wicket keep, and then that was, to this day, I regret it the most. It's the worst decision I've ever made in my life. So it took me a really long time to actually prove that I could do the things I can do with the ball, and it took until I was about 21, 22 before people started to realise that I could bowl as well. And so the passion for bowling has always been there, and I guess has driven everything else. I can keep if I absolutely have to, but it's absolute last resort. We'll put Mark Chapman in to keep before me, thank goodness. But no, I love being involved in all areas of the game. And I guess it's about being versatile and trying to do what I can for the team. And if that means I can provide overs with the ball and bat in a different position, then that's where I want to be.
Well, that's very versatile. That people who didn't catch the ball have made you this international keeper, which is not a small thing to become. So you've had your fair share of success playing against Pakistan. Remember the Karachi knock where you play them in Champions Trophy, 63 runs, match-winning effort. So what do you think that you fancy playing against Pakistan? Which bowlers do you think challenge you the most, and where you think that you can do the most damage?
Yeah, that was a pretty cool knock, considering I'd come off with gastro and food poisoning, so I was pretty much nowhere. And I think those days are when you sometimes play the best and you go out with absolute freedom, knowing that any minute here I could need to be running back to the bathroom. So and when you play with that sort of freedom, it really opens up a whole different ball game. And obviously the Pakistan side is full of bowlers, spinners and pacers, so I think definitely challenges lie with Shaheen and Harris Ralph at the death, with their variations of slower balls, and obviously they've got good spinners as well. And I think it'll also come down to how the pitches play, who will be the toughest and who will be the ones that we try and target. Obviously if the pitches are spinning, we'll try and target the pace a little bit more. If it's not, we'll probably try and target the spin a little bit more, and it's very much game dependent, I think.
So playing in the new Gaddafi Stadium, it's recently been renovated, and it's a lot of new stuff. Almost everything is new over there, but the pitches might be the same, which have been traditionally very true and very batting friendly. So do you think this will give you a fair idea of things to come in the bigger event, that is the Champions Trophy?
I've heard that the pitches in Pakistan for white ball stuff are very good. Look at the PSL, and it's always very high scoring games, very batter friendly tracks, which obviously mean the pace bowlers that Pakistan produce have to be exceptional to be able to produce the sort of swing and slower ball variations that they have on pitches that are really good for batting. Obviously we've seen Pakistan in the recent past have a lot of success on ranked turners, and obviously ourselves, we had a little bit of success in India as well on those sort of pitches. So I think we're prepared for both situations, whether they are prepared to spin a lot, considering we have both India, Pakistan and Sri Lanka in our pool. But if they are flat and enjoyable for batting, then we'll have to adapt and ideally score as many runs as possible.
Well, having seen the Pakistan recently announced squad for this Tri-Nation and the Champions Trophy, they have one regular spinner playing for them, and that is the mystery spinner Ibrar. So have you had the previous experience of facing any mystery spinner, and how do you think that the best way is to go while it's hard to pick what's coming at you?
I know they call him a mystery spinner, but there's not particularly that much mystery with Ibrar, not compared to some of the other guys around the world. You've got the likes of Majid, Rashid Khan, Zahir Khan from Afghanistan. There's a lot of mystery spinner bowlers out there, and obviously Ibrar is the same as a lot of the leg spinners out there, where he's got the variations of the carom ball as well as the back of the hand for the wrong end. So I think he's definitely got a fine set of skills, and in terms of playing guys like that, you try and, I guess, play for the most threatening ball, and as a right-hander, it's probably that ball coming back in. I know he's got a good wrong-in, so understand how that looks when it first comes out. I've never faced him before, so I wouldn't necessarily know personally. Just from scouting notes that we've seen over the years and the guys that have played him in the tests a couple of years back. But yeah, he's a really skillful bowler, but I think the likes of facing Mujib and Rashid Khan have at least given us, or the whole team, a little bit of an insight into what facing good mystery spinners like, and hopefully we face Ibrar the same as we face the others.
So talk about big events, and Champions Trophy certainly is one of them, and obviously the bigger the events, they bring different pressures. So having been and currently being a player who is going through all those, what is the best way that you use to relieve your pressure? What activity would you engage in apart from cricket to just be mentally more relaxed and more prepared for the upcoming challenges?
Yeah, I think especially in Pakistan, where we're very much, I guess we stay in our hotel most of the time. A lot of us have brought over PlayStations, and I've brought my flight simulator over personally. We've got a golf simulator as well that the boys will be setting up and hacking around in. So we've come prepared for our long days in between trainings and games, and ideally as well, we also enjoy each other's company a whole lot. So we spend a lot of time together in between those trainings and games.
Is it something that you miss touring to Pakistan, exploring the traditional places, the local areas, or maybe the local markets?
I haven't been to Pakistan before without this sort of security protocols going on, and I think it would be absolutely amazing to do so one day. But I think for the foreseeable future, I think we might be a little bit in the head of future to have that sort of opportunity again. But I've heard it's an absolutely stunning and beautiful place. I know the mountains are relatively close, and I obviously love getting into the mountains. So maybe one day we'll get out and see.
Absolutely, the mountain side, the northern side is absolutely stunning, sir, and I hope that you get a chance, and you can see the real natural beauty that Pakistan has to offer. So coming back to this, finally to this ICC event, which is the bigger picture in front of you, what does it mean for New Zealand? Because they've been so close to winning ICC events so many times, and then at the very last moment, some stroke of luck doesn't happen their way, some other things happen. So where do you think the missing link is, and how do you rectify that?
Obviously, Champions Trophy and ODI World Cups and T20 World Cups, they're all very fickle in terms of once you get to those knockout phases, you have to be on your best on that given day. And we've obviously played really good cricket in the past in those sort of knockout matches, and sometimes the opposition we've played has just been better. It is definitely a tough thing to be able to win and get to a final, let alone win the final. So for all those teams, like India and England and Pakistan, who have won trophies and finals in the past, they'll know just how hard it is as well to bring the performance on that final day. Obviously, it comes down to a one-off, who's better on the day, and at this stage, we just haven't been the best on that one given day. Even if leading into those semis and finals, we've actually played some really good cricket and we've given ourselves some good chances. But it's still just there, just needs to be reached.
Okay, just tell us one thing that you really love about international cricket, and there's one more thing that you need to tell us is what you would want to change in international cricket.
what do I love about international cricket? I think it's just the understanding that you're playing others that are the best in the country for their given countries, and that you're performing at the highest level. And one thing I'd like to change at international cricket, I reckon there's enough rangefinder ability now to measure how far sixes go. So I think any sixes over 90 meters should be worth 8 runs.
Oh wow, that's a good suggestion for the future events. Well, we'd like to thank you for giving us your time and sharing your thoughts. We wish you very best of luck.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast from PCB, and looking forward to the exciting action in the Tri-Nation and the Champions Trophy.